I'm Brian Wazalowski. I'm the Creative Commons Qatar Community Lead, and it's of course my pleasure to welcome you to our one-year anniversary tonight. So welcome, everybody. Before I start, I have to, of course, thank Carnegie Mellon University for hosting us tonight. It's a beautiful building. You know, last year we did our launch in the Museum of Islamic Art, which was, of course, stunning, and I think this building is equally stunning. So thank you, Carnegie Mellon. Also, thank you to ictQATAR for funding this event. Without the support of ictQATAR, Creative Commons Qatar would be a little bit strapped for cash, so we couldn't do events like this without their support. So thank you to ictQATAR as well. For those of you who know Creative Commons, you know that it's all about bringing people together. It's about sharing ideas and building networks. It's about collaboration and innovation, and it's about being creative with others. Creative Commons allows you to share your work online more openly and with the confidence that your intellectual property rights will be respected. It helps us move from cut and paste with no attribution to copy and share with attribution and recognition. We're never going to return to a society where lockdown copyrights work, and frankly, that's a good thing. But at the same time, we want to respect the rights of the creatives like you to have their work recognized and have that work attributed to you. So, since our launch, we've actually kept a lot of things moving forward. I could go through all of it, but if I did go through all of it, frankly, you'd probably get bored. So I'm just going to go through a few of them. But for all of you that I miss, who have done amazing work under Creative Commons, I apologize for missing you, but thank you so much for your contributions. So let me just start with a few of the things. I'll start with the visit by Liam, who is the Wikipedia GLAM Fellow. GLAM stands for Galleries, Libraries, Archives, and Museums. And he was here in Doha back in November. And he met with the Qatar Museum Authority, Tegradat, and people from Education City. And from that visit, we're seeing a lot of original works appearing on Wikipedia right here from Qatar. The Tegradat community, is there anyone from Tegradat here? Anyone? All right, there we go. Welcome. They're a good community. Some people also know them as Let's Tweet in Arabic. And they've been doing a lot of great work where they're trying to share more content in Arabic. And one of the important projects they're doing is they are making sure that the Arabic interface for Wikipedia is easier for people to use. And obviously, if that interface works better in Arabic, you get more Arabic content. And of course, Wikipedia is one of the most notable users of Creative Commons in the world. So thank you to the Tegradat community for your work with that. You're amazing. Our great friends from Al Jazeera also met with Liam while he was here, and as a result of that visit, they opened up a lot of their photo archive under more flexible Creative Commons licenses so that they could be used in a whole bunch of different platforms, including on Wikipedia. Of course, as you know, Al Jazeera is one of the most prominent organizations using Creative Commons, and they have truly been pioneers in using that. Recently, they've released even more footage under Creative Commons, especially related to the Arab Spring. As we all know, Al Jazeera has a new Director General, so we're hoping that he will continue to be just as supportive of Creative Commons as the previous one was. And our Creative Commons legal lead, who's standing right there in the middle of CC, Mohammed, works for Al Jazeera, so I do believe that we have a little bit of inside influence at Al Jazeera, so hopefully they'll continue to be just as supportive. In the museum world, Mataf has shown that they truly understand the value of sharing and have worked with the Creative Commons community to develop a CC agreement for incoming works and artists that allows those works to be shared digitally under Creative Commons licenses. That means all that amazing work at Mataf can be shared and accessed by the rest of the world far more openly. I'm hopeful that the Qatar Museum Authority follows the lead of the pioneering Mataf and continues to do great work like that too. Another organization that's doing great things with Creative Commons is MADA. Now, we're going to have MADA talk a little bit about what they're doing later, but I'll just tease it a little bit. MADA is Qatar's Assistive Technology Center, and they're helping people with disabilities here in Qatar through technology. And what they're doing is they're developing a lot of that technology in open source, and they're sharing that, and then sharing the manuals and other education resources under Creative Commons, so people here in Qatar aren't the only ones benefiting from their advancements, but all over the world people can take these and build upon them locally localize them to benefit the disabled community worldwide. Truly doing amazing work. And of course, beyond the organizations is the rapidly growing community, you guys. People that are doing things, whether you're graphic designers, you're developers, you're photographers, you're filmmakers, you're artists, you name it. There's people doing stuff under Creative Commons here, and you're really the heart of the community. You know, I think this is where we switch to that. We've seen far too many works for me to show, but I'll tick off just a few that I can think of right now. We've already had a book develop under Creative Commons called Drisha, which means glimpses, and it's a photo essay about Qatar. So if you haven't seen that, it's available on the Creative Commons website. You can download it, put it on your iPad, just like this. And we also did a limited print run of it as well. We've also done a wide number of workshops, some for visual artists, some for open source developers, and we also held a community iftar, and hopefully we'll do another one this year as Ramadan's starting to approach. And of course, there's countless other people, probably a lot of you in the room that have shared your works under Creative Commons. Many of them were featured on the slideshow that we were showing earlier, and we're going to continue to show it. So if you were just kind of glancing at that slideshow earlier, really take a look at it, and you'll see some of the amazing works that's being done under Creative Commons. So please, at this point, can we give a big round of applause to everyone who's doing work under Creative Commons? But now, as they always say, it's better to show than to tell, so I'm going to move to the side here and let some members of our Creative Commons community show the work that they're doing. So I'm going to first start with a project called Dohati, and I always pronounce it wrong, so if I just did it wrong again, I apologize to the creators of that project. Dohati is a project where they are encouraging, it's a community-led and developed project where they encourage people to tell why Qatar and Doha are important to them or what it means to them. It's a video project, and we actually have a booth right over there against the wall where you can contribute to this project. They're going to tell you more about it and how you can contribute. So I'd like to welcome Mohana and Umar up here, but I think we need microphones for them, right? Or do you have the microphones? Otherwise, it's going to be a little difficult for them to talk. Okay, well, this is one of those things where if you were on a TV show, they'd say, fill space, fill space, fill space. So I'll fill space, and no, that's not the microphone. Well, Mahana, why didn't you come up to help me fill space? At least she, you know. Okay, here they are. Let's clap. That fills space. All right, okay. All right, keep clapping. All right, how about I give you, there's the microphone. Okay, so we have Mohana.
Can you hear me? No. Yes?
Test.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. As Brian said, it's been a really great year in the world of Creative Commons Qatar. And we hope that having a community here and a platform will just keep inspiring people to come up with more and more creative ideas. I'm Mohana, this is Ado, and this is Omar. These guys were my dream team in terms of packaging the video that you're about to see. They filmed it, they did the sound, and we did everything in-house. We filmed over at VCU University, Virginia Commonwealth University in Qatar. We filmed in a little booth that we've tried to recreate over here. And basically what we tried to do was get beyond the headlines that we see a lot of times in the news lately. Qatar is the fattest country in the world. Qatar is the richest country in the world. You know, these kinds of images that are circulating in the international media. And we tried to bring it down to what Doha means to people on the individual level. And that's what Dohati means, my Doha. So I'll let these guys say a little bit about what it was like to film and the technical parts of it, because I know a lot of you are wondering about that. And then we'll see the group video. We did 10 segments, and we'd love to do twice as much or 3 times as much tonight. So all you have to do is think about what Doha means to you, not the big scale propaganda, you know, brands and companies and that kind of thing, but what is the experience that you yourself have in Doha, and come over and tell us in the booth.
Okay. All right, so honestly, I just got back from Malaysia. I didn't even shave, and this is quite awkward. But I just want to say, from my opinion, it was a great experience to meet all these people that actually talked about the culture, the food, the atmosphere, the weather. I think one of the people that we interviewed said throughout the whole year he doesn't have an AC, which I found was really amazing. And he doesn't even have AC in his car, you know? And it gets up to 50 degrees out there. So you meet all these people, and I really encourage everyone to actually come forward, get in, try to get your voice out there, share it with the world. It's a really great community out here. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think the best part is it is part of CC right now, and I have been planning to do this project for a long time. Having individuals speak about their own experience being in Qatar, how long you are. Some have been here for like 30 years, and I don't see a platform where actually you get to tell what you want to say. So I think this is one opportunity where every one of you can have a chance. Today, we have a booth, but I don't know how long we're going to have this project, so I hope you get a chance to talk about yourself, your experience being here, if you're a tourist, if you're a visitor for the first time, or if you're staying here, or if you're even born here. I mean, you could tell about all your experience you had, and what has Qatar given back to you as an individual. So.
And basically the project came about because a lot of people were saying that they still don't understand what CC is. Like, what is CC? Basically, all CC is a group of artists, designers, programmers, writers, photographers, anyone that you can think of that wants to do their work under an open license. So the video that you're about to see tonight, and then the other 9 videos are up on YouTube. They're under the CC YouTube. So you're welcome to take the video, remix it, reuse it in whatever way that you would like. And that's the heart of CC. So rather than telling you what CC is, we thought we'd try to show you and then invite you to participate. So we'll show the video. Yeah.
Show the video.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. حبيت أتكلم عن دوحتي.
എൻ്റെ പേര് ഗീത ഞാനൊരു college student ആണ്.
الناس كانوا يتكلمون عن الحلم الامريكي، والصراحه اعتقد ان الناس اللي يفكرون في حلم قطر.
Adoro il fatto che una volta creata questa amicizia con le persone, questa amicizia continua.
വന്നത് 1994 ഫെബ്രുവരി 13-ാം തീയതിയാണ്. മൊത്തം ഇപ്പോൾ 18ഓളം വർഷമായി.
J'aime bien mon profession et j'aime enseigner l'art graphique.
Kwa ule muda nimekuwa hapa Qatar, nimefurahia sana kwa sababu hapa tupo na imani. Amani pia ni tele.
Me gusta sobre Qatar es el multiculturalismo. Es impresionante que aquí mi esposo y yo no somos la única pareja multicultural, no somos la única familia multicultural.
أنا عندي فكرة إن نتمسك بعاداتنا وتقاليدنا عشان جزء من هويتنا وجزء من الناس اللي بنكون في المستقبل.
That's pretty good, right? Yeah, so you should all be really motivated to go over to the Dohati booth and record part of this. And it said coming soon, but it's already come. You can go to the YouTube channel for CC. There's a lot of videos. The first 10 are already up there. So those are just little samples from the videos. So contribute to this. And it's a really great project because I think, Mahana put it right. There's a lot of misperceptions about Qatar. But if you watch that video, you see just how diverse this community is. So keep contributing to that project. Hopefully it's something that can continue even throughout the year. If Mohana, Umar, and I forgot your name because I just met you today. Adil, sorry, and Adil will keep it moving and going on, so please contribute. So now, as I said before, we're going to have another group come up here, and actually it's David, come on up, from MADA. Now MADA is Qatar's Assistive Technology Center. As I said before, they're doing amazing work here to serve the disabled community in Qatar, but they recognize that their work can go well beyond the borders here. So David, why don't you tell us a bit about what you're doing and how Creative Commons is helping you?
Well, thanks, Brian. I hate coming to Creative Commons events. So that probably wasn't what I was supposed to say to start off.
No.
No, the reason is that I meet so many creative and imaginative people that I come away feeling entirely inadequate every time I come to an event. And it poses a question, which is, why would someone with the artistic sensibility of a house brick embrace Creative Commons? And at MADA, we've embraced it for all sorts of reasons. Creative Commons really supports collaboration. And MADA, as a small organization, needs to collaborate with people from all around the world. And they've all got different laws and systems, intellectual property. And Creative Commons lets us cut across that and get to the work we want to do, to write materials that can help people with disabilities understand what technology can offer them without needing to spend months negotiating who's going to own it at the end. But more than that, Creative Commons supports use and reuse of materials. So when we, with our partners, put materials out under Creative Commons, it goes out into a community. And luckily, like yourselves, a lot of those people are more creative and imaginative than the original authors were. So what comes back is actually better than what we put out at the beginning. New ideas get fed into documents, videos, and they get produced and shared, and then we can reuse other people's ideas as well. Creative Commons also has a really important role to play in making accessible digital content for people with disabilities. If you look at traditional content, let's take video for example, often it's inaccessible, say, for people who are deaf. But because there's a copyright on it, no one else is allowed to add subtitles, because the script, the words are owned by somebody. Under Creative Commons, an organization like MADA, Qatar Social Cultural Club for the Deaf, can take that video and add their own subtitles. We can create books for the blind, for people with learning disabilities, based on other people's content. Because again, we can use, reuse, we can mash it up, we can make it fully accessible. So Creative Commons for MADA as an organization supports our key mission, which is to inform and provide resources. And without Creative Commons, we'd be spending a lot more time thinking about it and not really doing it and making it available to people. So we would really encourage organizations to embrace Creative Commons. It makes it easier for you to do your job. And for our mission, which is to build capacity within Qatar, within the Gulf, Creative Commons is a vital tool in letting us do that. But as Brian said earlier, it's only one of the tools we're going to be using. It's part of a movement towards more open licensing that helps us, that helps disabled people. The use of open source code, open educational resources, and Creative Commons itself are creating a more accessible internet, a more accessible world. And we thank Creative Commons for letting us do that. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, David. Thank you, David. MADA is a great example of how Creative Commons can be used across all sectors. A lot of people think of Creative Commons and they think it's just for artists. And of course, artists are amazing users of Creative Commons. But here's an example of people using it to help people with disabilities. It can apply to software, to engineering, to research. So it's everyone that can use Creative Commons. So be creative and think of new ways to use it. So we just focused on an organization, but now we're going to shift back to the artist as well, and in fact, a cartoonist. So our cartoonist, Khalid, is actually Doha raised. I had originally written born, but he wasn't born in Doha. He was born in Romania, correct? And his site, if you haven't seen it, it's Cartoon, which is the combination of cartoon and Khartoum, which is where he's originally from. And you know, he's a great example of an artist who I think has seen a lot of benefits in sharing his work under CC. So why don't you tell them about it?
Hello, assalamu alaikum. As a political cartoonist, when the Arab Spring started, it was such a big deal for me personally and for the whole region. And I wanted to be part of that. I wanted to share my cartoons, share my vision. And I was wondering, why isn't my work getting shared or circulated on the internet? Until, of course, Bilal here from Al Jazeera introduced me to Creative Commons, and because he wanted to use one of my cartoons in an article for Al Jazeera. So I loved the idea. I loved the idea of sharing and giving back. So I did. And not long after I put all my work online, this is all free online, by the way. It's free, download, remix, do whatever you want. Not long after I put all my work under Creative Commons, somebody downloaded this artwork, which says Musir. And you can read it Masr as well. Masr, which is Egypt, and Musir, which is persistent. And it was before the fall of Mubarak, when he was persisting to stay online. So one of the activists in Egypt downloaded my artwork, stenciled it in Tahrir Square, and the amazing thing is, he actually wrote my name. He didn't cut it off, because he could have claimed it to himself. He didn't cut it off, anything. He took a picture of it after he did it, and he sent it back to me, and he said, thank you for sharing. So when you share with the community will definitely give back. So use Creative Commons. It's good for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. See, share, that's what it comes down to. So thank you very much for sharing that with us. And I'm hoping now that, in this room, that's inspired you a little bit, and we'll have a bunch of people now saying, hey, I want to apply Creative Commons to my work if you haven't done so already. So actually what we did is we worked with our friends in CC Jordan to create a video to try to make it very simple so that you could understand how that could be done. So we're going to show one more video right now, and you can see a little bit more about Creative Commons, and they put it in a very clear way, and then it'll actually show you how to get the licenses and apply it to your work. So watch the video.
The Arab world has countless creative people and intellectuals that can inspire us with their writing, art, music, research, and discoveries. Such creativity is a treasure that should be shared with the world. A lot of creative people want to share their ideas so they can grow and develop. This piece of writing is brilliant. Can we work together? Wow! Can we sample your tune? Oh, look at this. May I share your art on my blog? How genius. Can I use your formula? The internet makes this possible, but strict copyright regulation sometimes gets in the way. Meet Creative Commons. Creative Commons encourages content creators to collaborate and share their work with others. This way, together, we can maximize the power of the internet, nurture a spirit of innovation, and encourage exchange of experiences and culture. Creative Commons offers a series of content rights licenses that are built on copyright laws. They spell out how you want your work attributed and shared while still protecting your creative rights. What are the licenses? This sign attributes the work to its owner. How do you want to be known? This sign prevents the user from using the creative work for commercial purposes. This sign indicates that the user can use the work but cannot apply any changes to it. No remixing. This sign gives the permission for modifying and distributing the creative content, but the user must share their work under the same terms as the original. Keep it moving forward. So how do you get a license for your work? Easy. Visit www.creativecommons.qa or creativecommons.org. Go to the licensing section and answer a few simple questions about how you want to share your work. Allow commercial uses of your work? Allow modifications of your work. Select a license. Click Submit and you'll generate a code for your license that you can easily apply to almost any digital work. Now your work can be shared openly and you will have the confidence your rights are respected. You can even search for other works under Creative Commons. It's a worldwide community. Share your ideas for the whole world to discover them. Help unlock the massive potential within the Arab world and share it with everyone. Creative Commons.
So there you go, keep it moving forward, right? So this video is also available in Arabic. It's available on the ictQATAR YouTube channel, so check that out. Again, that's also where you can find the Dohati videos as well. This is a good time for me to remind you to also follow us on Facebook, so like us there. Also follow us on Twitter at @ccQatar. If you're tweeting tonight, use @ccQatar as your hashtag. It's a good thing to do. And then also, all of you have noticed that they've been taking photographs as you come in the door. You know, they're showing up here, but they're also going to show up on our Flickr page. So if you'd like to see the photographs from tonight, we'll get those posted very quickly so you can see, you know, and say you were at the 1-year anniversary. So now, at this stage, I'm going to wrap up and let you start to get back to the networking, the music, recording Dohati submissions, and all that fun stuff. But I want to leave you with a little word about how Creative Commons Qatar fits into the global community and kind of where I see us going. This year, I was lucky enough to be able to go to the CC Arab World Meet in Tunisia and also the CC Global Meeting in Warsaw. These meetings were incredibly valuable for me because they reminded me just how lucky we are here in Qatar and how much we have to contribute to the global community. In Tunis, as Khalid was showing, you couldn't really help but feel the energy of the Arab Spring. You could sense tremendous pride, optimism, and hope, but there was also a certain level of fear and uncertainty. It was impossible not to be moved by the stories of the people from the other Creative Commons communities in Palestine, in Tunisia, in Egypt, and Syria. In these places, like here, Creative Commons is a way to share content, connect with others, and keep ideas moving forward. But there, they're facing challenges that we really take for granted. We don't know here. Much of the incredible creative work from these communities is in response to suffering and hardship and a yearning for freedom. In these communities, though, it's amazing how broad and how deep the creative community is and how committed they are to being open. They have different views, approaches, but they're united in their commitment to sharing thoughts and ideas openly. They've embraced the principles of CC. Yet in many of these places, institutions and governments reject these principles and actually try to muzzle ideas and innovation. This was made even more clear for me when I was talking to our friends at the meeting in Warsaw from Syria. They were telling me about the footage they were capturing of policemen smashing store windows, soldiers beating civilians, and snipers shooting protesters. Whereas just months before, when I saw them in Tunisia, they were talking to me about an amazing open source workshop they'd hosted and the iftar they held for the community in Damascus. For me, this was a harsh reminder, but an important reminder of just how lucky we are here in Qatar to be somewhere where creativity is embraced and where innovation is actually encouraged. Stability and government support for the expression of ideas is something that is easy to take for granted, but I encourage each and every one of you not to. The very fact that a government institution right here in this country has supported Creative Commons sends a clear message that Qatar values your creativity and wants you to share it and wants you to keep it moving forward. Take advantage of the luxury of stability to be even more creative and share these benefits with your friends in the rest of the Arab world who may not be as fortunate right now and who may be facing greater challenges. I'd love to see Qatar take a lead on open source projects that help marginalized communities. It would also be amazing to see a true open education movement start here so that the investment or the knowledge that we're investing in at institutions like this, at Carnegie Mellon, go well beyond the borders of this country and is shared with the entire region and, in fact, the world. But mostly, I'd love to see Qatar's voice, your voice, reach the widest audience possible. You know, I've been in this community now for a year, and I've seen so much tremendous creativity. It would be a shame to lock it down. So I encourage you to share it with the entire world. And don't stop with sharing. Work together with others, collaborate, mix, and remix. That's where the true magic happens. That's when Creative Commons is so powerful. As David said, oftentimes what you put in is only the start. What comes out is what's truly amazing. So contribute and share. Move forward with Creative Commons. Thank you, everybody.